Do you ever wonder where the tide goes when you sigh? Does it drift into a pastel cloud that grows throughout the night? Does it sing and dance in its self-pity even when you're alright? Does it sink into your blanket and hide from the light? So they'll head to rest and find me in your dreams along the trees, the willows and the bees. Pick a cattail and we'll spar until the breeze carries us away like it never happened at all. Do you ever catch yourself 1,000 miles away? Do the memories kiss your fingertips and keep the worries at bay?
I wanted to show you guys what we got, and I filmed the entire thing, and I didn't film it because I didn't press record. That's gotta happen. That's the first time that's happened, and it happens at least once to everyone, so I'm gonna do it over again. Okay, so the vision is that we're going to make our own garland, because if you go to Hobby Lobby or anywhere that has like pretty pre-made garland, like 4 to 6 feet of it, it's like $100. I'm not doing that. So we are going to make our own. You saw me put some pine cones in the oven to dry out, which I need to make sure that I keep an eye on those, by the way, because pine cones are flammable, and I don't know if putting them in the oven is the best idea, but we'll find out. Anyway, so we have garland, and the plan is to like hot glue some ornaments and some of those pine cones that we picked up off the side of the road together and make it pretty. And then we got some accessories, and we'll see if things become cute. We don't know. It'll depend. So wish us luck. That's the plan. I also got a few little Christmas trees to continue to decorate the house with. We have a bunch of little ones, but we don't have bigger ones. So we needed more anchor pieces, if that makes sense. If you've ever done like a charcuterie board, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this guy is an ornament. He is eye candy. We've got Christmas lights, and we have a little stray cat that comes around, and Ryan built him a shelter. And so we're gonna put a little wreath on his shelter. And then these things to hang our stockings, because we're not gonna hang them on the wall. They're on the wall right now, but we're not gonna leave them there unless these things completely fail. And that's the Christmas haul. That went much faster with everything already out. Wish us luck with the garland, because I don't know how that's gonna go.
Pastel cloud that grows throughout the night. Does it sing and dance in its self-pity even when you're alright? Does it sink into your blanket and hide from the light? So they'll head to rest and find me in your dreams along the trees, the willows and the bees. Pick a cattail and we'll spar until the breeze carries us away like it never happened at all. Do you ever catch yourself 1,000 miles away? Do the memories kiss your fingertips and keep the worries at bay? Do they fill your thoughts with faces come and gone yesterday? Do they lift your head up through the clouds even if there's no way?
Well, as you can no doubt observe, my desk is a mess, so I'm gonna clean it up.
The willows and the bees. Pick a cattail and we'll spark until the breeze like it never, 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 like it never happened at all.
These sticky notes, I'm keeping them. I'm going to copy them into this notebook. Okay, as promised, here's a little bit more of a in-depth explanation on what voice training is if you don't know or have never heard of it. As I sort of explained last night, but I don't think I explained really well, it's when you copy down, you handwrite from an author that you admire or are emulating. I like to write within the books that I read that are close to, maybe comparable to what I'm currently writing. And I like to write scenes or sections that I remember really well because they were well written and because they had an impact on me, either emotionally or visually, and I will copy them down for a specific purpose. So I was trying to practice writing fight scenes, so I copied a scene from Fonda Lee in Jade City and then kind of analyzed it to see what I noticed about her prose and how she described things. What was her word choice like? What was her sentence structure like? How did she break up paragraphs? Where was her dialogue? How is that spliced in with the description and the interiority? Because all those things matter when it comes to prose, where you put your dialogue, description, interiority, what order they go in, and how they flow, and how long, and this is something I've been wondering a lot about, is how much space of interiority goes between a question and then a response from another character, or a sentence from one character and a sentence from the next character. It's all in the same conversation, but how much goes between that before you end up really messing with pace and flow and losing your reader in the middle of a conversation. That's something that I'm trying to pick up on how other authors do it. I think that the scene that I copied from chapter 5 is just like a section of the scene, not the whole scene. I think is really pretty, but it also has a huge emotional impact. I haven't really looked too closely into it, but I'm noticing some things that he does that I do that I've been beating myself up about, which is repeated sentence types next to each other. And I don't know why, but when I notice that in my own writing, I'm like, I can't do that. It's got to be different every time. And I'm seeing that Pierce is doing it, so I'm like, it probably means that it's fine as long as it sounds right and sounds good, and this is proof that it can sound just fine. So anyway, I'm going to kind of look through this to see what I notice. It's the word pictures. It's the description. It's this little, there's maybe 2 in this one section, so it's not overdone at all. But he's got a little bit of imagery that takes you out of the scene and puts you somewhere else. What I'm noticing is that I'm really only seeing it twice, but it's impactful. I also don't want to give spoilers for Red Rising, so I'm not going to, in the same way that I don't want to give spoilers for Fond du Lis, I'm not going to tell you guys what exactly I'm looking at. We're in chapter 5, okay? If you know, you know. I also am noticing he references sirens, and this only because I'm thinking about it in terms of a writer, not a reader. Are there sirens? Would a red from Mars know what a siren is? That doesn't bother me, but it is something I noticed, and maybe I would have said something different. But I don't know. Maybe not, because of all the Greek and Roman history that is saturating these books. Probably sirens fit just fine in their world. I'm curious how a red from Mars knows what a siren is. And then there was something else kind of along that line. Oh yeah, Darrow's being a little bit wishful here, and he's like, this will work out because this is how the story goes. I wonder what stories he's talking about. Interesting. But it's like something that I wouldn't necessarily pick up. I hadn't picked up on, but because I'm looking at this very, very closely, I'm noticing it. That this is the sentence I really, really like. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because I think that there's a little bit of repetition that he's using and some repeated sounds. So there's a little bit of alliteration, but not overdone. They're not right next to each other. He doesn't break his paragraphs super often. Interesting. What makes this so emotional? Because he packs an extremely emotional punch 5 chapters in. Like, you're crying 5 chapters in. And I think it has to do, I think it's all on character. Like, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors with the prose, but not that much. It's mostly character driven, which is how it's supposed to be. And I think it's the emotion from Darrow that really gets us. Voice train. It's a lot of fun. It's an easy way to study your favorite authors and learn something. Most of the time, I find it pretty encouraging because I look at that and I'm like, I look at this whole book and I'm like, can I do that? And then I look at things on the micro level and I'm like, okay, I can do this. So there's my soapbox about that. So it's like 1:15 on Sunday. I'm gonna sit down and do some writing. That's really it. That's the whole update. I didn't write very much yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit of a decorating day, but also I wrote around 200 words, but I worked for a while. And like I said, I'm still doing an editing pass of stuff that I wrote. And it is a very brief editing pass. Like, it's nothing super in depth, but it does take time because I'm mostly reading things and then going back, rewriting. So it's not a ton in terms of word count, you know, but it was a solid like 2 or 3 hours of work yesterday, so happy with that. Today I'm gonna try and let's set our goal for 1,000 today. I don't want to fall behind my goal. Knock it out today. I think I might do a little bit of drafting today as opposed to just editing. I'm feeling the drafting is something that I want to do. That's the plan. I think that's all I need to tell you. Do I want to do a sprint? I don't know. Let me get situated. I might do a sprint. We'll see what happens. I'm about to delete 3 chapters. Just get rid of them and make sure they're the right ones. Triple checking. I've already copied them over into another document so that they're not gone forever, but I'm a little bit nervous. It's about to like take 4,000 words out of my document. Are we ready? Just have to go all the way to the bottom. Oh, and it's gone. It's not, but it's wild. Okay, we're gonna rewrite these chapters, but we need to be a little bit more clear on what exactly is and how I'm going to write them. I know more about like the what's happening, but I don't know other things. So.
Do you ever wonder where the tide goes when you sigh? Does it drift into a pastel cloud that grows throughout the night? Does it sing and dance in its self-pity even when you're alright? Does it sink into your blanket and hide from the light? So lay your head to rest and find me in your dreams alone. The trees, the willows and the bees pick a cattail and we'll spar until the breeze carries us away like it never happened at all. Do you ever catch yourself 1,000 miles away? Do the memories kiss your fingertips and keep the worries at bay? Do they fill your thoughts with faces come and gone yesterday? Do they lift your head up through the clouds even if there's no way? So lay your head to rest.
Hello everyone, it is Monday and I just figured I would get on here and end the weekend vlog because I don't think I did that yesterday. It's Monday, we had a whole weekend, and yesterday I wrote, was it 3,000 words? It was a lot of words. I wrote a lot of words. It's crazy how much I write when I'm not editing or rewriting. It's like if it's just straight up drafting, I produce so many words. So different tasks that require different types of writing, which produce different amounts of words, and that is natural and okay. So anyway, I don't think I discussed what happened, which I want to kind of recap a little bit. What ended up happening, because you saw me work on my little whiteboard. You saw my face when I realized that I had some changes that I needed to make. It kind of looks like I'm in a state of terror, but I'm really not. That was mostly like kind of a little bit of shock, a little bit of excitement, and a lot of worry, because I know that this sequence of events probably shifts. Yeah, it does. It shifts a lot of what happens after. So going into Act 2, I think it'll make it stronger, but it's also going to kind of add kind of that domino effect that when you change something, it has that ripple effect throughout the whole story, which is why I'm glad that I'm catching it now. And that's kind of the whole point of a draft 2, is that you catch those things that you want to fix and change. You catch it early enough on that you don't like rewrite an entire draft that's semi-polished and ready for a draft 3, and you're trying to go into like different kinds of edits, but you really just need a whole nother developmental edit. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. So we're catching it at a good time. We're catching it at the time that we're supposed to catch it at. That was not the worry. The worry is the ripple effect, and I'm not sure exactly how all that's going to pan out yet. But basically what happened was the last 3-ish chapters of Act 1, they have kind of gone back and forth in my mind as like solid and not solid. I think that they're like fine scenes. The original chapters that I had, they're fine. They're okay. They could have been better. I just thought that that was something that I needed to do more character work, kind of get into it. You know, I can honestly tell you what the scene is. It's like, it's a sparring scene. Like, imagine you're like mediocre, your run-of-the-mill, you know, main characters fight other characters, and in my like action flick loving heart, I was like, cool, a scene where they fight, that's normal and fine, totally great, okay. And then I went over it again and I was like, okay, so like we need more character work. Like, this is a fun action sequence, it's engaging, but like it needs to do more heavy lifting. So I really hammered home like the character conflict. So it was like Isleen was going to win her match, but it was going to be because she fought dirty, and she's not supposed to be doing that. And so it was like a point of failure for her. Like, it taught other people how to treat her, and it taught her how to treat other people. Essentially, it was like a character moment. Okay, sounds fine, great. And then I did the same thing with my second POV character. I did the same thing with Ghost, where I was like, okay, well, he's not gonna win his match. He's gonna lose his match, and it's gonna be because he basically gives up. And it's gonna be like this character moment, right? It's not a time to like flex everyone's muscles. It's more like, let's build some character out as we're grafting these two outsiders into an already established squad of soldiers, trying to play with that dynamic. And I was like, okay, that's better. And we're gonna do it through a sparring scene. So it's not like, on its surface, it's not been bad. I'm trying to get the scene to do more than one thing. It's doing multiple things, and it's not a strictly boring thing. And I love a good fight scene. I love fight scenes. Like, I'm here, light someone on fire, throw some explosives. I need the machine gun fire, like do like a flip drop kick. Like, I'm ready for it. Go. I love that stuff. I love that stuff. But it's just like, I kept coming back to these chapters. I was like, man, and I don't know exactly what tipped me off about, like, it just didn't feel right. And I think it didn't feel right for a lot of reasons. I haven't exactly narrowed down why it doesn't quite work. I think it has a lot to do with kind of what comes before and after. And I really did feel like momentum, like pacing, just kind of hits a brick wall at this sequence of events. And I'm like, why is that? Like, Act 1, the plot is really setting in motion. It moves at a breakneck pace, in my opinion, for like the first 12 chapters. We're finding things out. Things are happening, and we're getting to know these characters, and we're getting to unravel the conflict, and things are just like, layers are just getting added. I feel like I'm talking really lofty about my amazing plot. It doesn't feel like an amazing plot yet, just so you know. I'm excited about it, but most of the time I look at my plot and think this is stupid. But that's where we come to this, okay? I'm like, it felt like things really slowed down and got kind of bogged down, and I was like, okay, is it because we're just in this station, in this one place for a little bit? And I start asking myself questions like, okay, so this thing that they're trying to do is pretty urgent, but we take the time to spar. And then it was weird because it was like what the Colonel was asking them to do, like why he was making them spar. Like, on the surface it made sense, but when I started asking questions about like, okay, if that was his goal, why wouldn't you just say this? It starts to kind of fall apart. Again, it's not strictly bad. It's just like, when you look at it for a little bit longer than 12 seconds, long enough to like not just accept it for what it is, it's kind of weird. And so that really tipped me off, and I was like, okay, well, something about the circumstances of what's happening needs to change fundamentally for this to make sense, because I don't buy it, and I've rewritten it like 3 times, right? And then I think it was like, I was noticing how, and if you've been paying attention, if you've been with me for a little bit, you know that Act 2 is kind of difficult. Lots of things have to happen in the middle. The middle should not be this swamp that you have to trudge through. The middle should be where everything's building and getting more and more exciting. The middle should not feel like a slowdown. But But I really did kind of feel like my middle is kind of like a slowdown, and I should have, like, I hit the ground running. I'm doing so great. Everything's building from act one. We hit the sparring scene. Like, I identified the chapter where things started to go funky, and so we can't launch into act 2 with the same momentum. And I was like, okay, well, there's my first problem. And I haven't written the rest of act 2, so I don't know what else I haven't rewritten the rest of the book. Like, we still are not done with act 1, apparently. And I'm like, okay, I think I've identified the problem chapters that I don't like, and if I just change this, what do I do? The catalyst for this was that I cleaned my desk. So, like, this is all in my head. And I'm like, what do I do? And then I cleaned my desk. And I found a bunch of sticky notes. I organized them. Like, I've had this, you've seen probably in my videos, like, it's just a massive stack of sticky notes that have been just chilling, waiting for their moment in the corner of my desk. And I sorted through them, and I threw away the ones that I didn't need anymore, the ones that have been used, and kept the ones I was like, okay, there's still something here. I want to hold on to that thought. And it ended up that a couple of those ideas actually kind of went together. An idea began to form, and I was like, oh my God, I think I know what I can do to these chapters, and let's change it. We're not sparring. So the inception of an entirely different sequence of events that I've never written before has come out of whole cloth, and you saw the process of what that looked like. I think I drafted on my whiteboard for maybe like 30 minutes. And then I kind of sat and stared at the wall for a little bit, a long time. There was a lot of thinking prior to the whiteboard situation. I mean, like, what you didn't see between the hours of 1:15 and 2:45 was just a lot of staring at the wall, trying to think of an idea, getting distracted, coming back to it, being like, what do I do with this? Just kind of simmering on things. And I think, you don't really film it because it's not all that interesting. Like, I'm not gonna sit in front of a camera and just like space, I realized that actually that is quite a bit of writing, honestly. That doesn't look like a lot. It's not a lot of physical activity. It looks like nothingness, but that's where the ideas really started to cook, for lack of a better term. The flavors started to get to know each other. When you simmer a sauce, it's gotta, you do that for a reason. It wasn't until after, like, I really started to, like, kind of let those things simmer for probably an hour and I will be honest, it would have been less than an hour if my phone was not such a distraction. It wasn't until those ideas had sat with me for a little bit that I was like, okay, now I can start writing things down. And it was like on my notebook, on the sticky notes, asking questions. And then it was like time to move to the whiteboard. And I was like, the first 2 boxes where I'm coming out of my original timeline. And then the purple, the red, and the green are the new sequence of events. I will need to rewrite chapter 12, but I'm not doing that today. I doubt I'll do that today. I want to finish this whole sequence. I wrote 1.5, maybe 2 chapters of the new sequence, and I think I've got it slated for 3, possibly 4 new chapters in Act 2. And I like them so much better. Now, I did have a new character kind of come through. A new character was born. So that presents some world building, some background, some other things that I've got to figure out. Like, honestly, the whole thing does open kind of a can of worms, but exciting can of worms. And all of a sudden I was writing 3,000 words. And again, it's not done. It's not polished. Not every question has been answered, but I'm focusing on things like characters. And I'm like, well, who says that? And why would they say that? And where are they coming from when they're saying that? And because I'm replacing, because the scenes that I'm replacing, they did have a purpose, and it was, how are Ghost and Isleen going to be grafted into this already established squad? They are on a high stakes mission, literally save the planet type stuff, and they have to somehow figure out how to work with this group of people, and they don't like each other. Like, they don't initially like each other. They don't initially know how to work together. And like, originally in my head, it was like they fight. There's a bubble over of that dislike, but it's condoned, and so they're literally going to let it out on each other by hitting one another, which is kind of juvenile. But now it's like, okay, we're in a mission. It's a purposeful thing. They have to work with each other, and what's that actually going to look like? Because I'm telling you right now that Ghost and Isleen, they're not soldiers, and they don't know 95% of the protocols that these guys do. And that's causing a lot of tension. There's a lot of conflict between the squad leader and Isleen, because she's like, I think I know how to handle these people. I know how to handle this mission. That's why I'm here. And you're sitting here getting in my way and telling me that we have to do it this way. And there's conflict. It's so much more useful than them just like hitting each other, which they might hit each other but it's gonna be for entirely different reasons. So that's what has happened. Once I kind of got it together and got it on my whiteboard, I was able to really kind of be excited about it. As I'm writing, the images are really coming together and things are very much starting to feel real. About 1,000 words of the 3 is setting, so that's probably a problem. But my setting is really great. My setting is cool. So I don't know how much of that I want to get rid of. Don't know how I'm going to communicate setting. I need help. Anyway, so the weekend of writing was really successful. But I did want to point out, just for all you people, and I wouldn't have noticed this if I wasn't a YouTuber now, how you don't see the thinking part. And like, I didn't see the thinking part. Like, I hadn't considered it because I'm not walking around, like, I'm not living my life comparing myself to other people. That's just not who I am. Like, I don't do that consciously. You know, I noticed it in the moment. I was like, man, I'm like, this is coming together, but I'm not gonna film this. Why? That's when I noticed. I'm like, you know what? So much of this is quiet staring at the wall. And I just feel like I need to put that out into the internet. You gotta have that stare at the wall time. You gotta simmer, man. You know, just don't take that for granted. Don't sit there and be like, man, all I've done is sit here and think about my story for an hour and a half and I feel like I've gotten nothing done and my word count is suffering. And I want to let you know that typically on the other side of that thinking and doing nothing stage is like hundreds of thousands of words. Don't skip that part. And I'm really glad that I took the time to actually try to crack this problem that I noticed, this thing that I didn't like. And I'm really appreciative of myself that I'm solving that now, that I'm not just waiting for a good idea to fall into my lap, that I did just kind of like, okay, sit with it and ask questions. And then I helped myself out by keeping track of things that I thought, ooh, that would be cool. Ooh, that's interesting. Like literally one of my sticky notes was a fungus that eats radiation. It's not being used yet, but it's hanging out. I'm glad I think of things like that, write them down, stick them in a pile, because it came in clutch. There was some stuff that me back in July was asking questions. Those questions became relevant and helpful in my moment of need yesterday afternoon. So there's my rambling story about how you gotta stare at the wall sometimes and it's not nothing. And you gotta do it. You gotta do it. It's not a waste of time. That is the hard work. Writing is thinking. Thinking is writing. In a lot of ways, you have to be clear on what you're thinking in order to write something that's clear. You have to think. Maybe if you're a unicorn and your thoughts are a jumbled mess and you can still somehow write a cohesive story, I want to shake your hand. But I gotta be honest, that's not most of us. So don't expect that of yourself. I think that's all I need to say to you. For these reasons, the pinecone garland is still unmade. My kitchen is full of pine cones and dirt. So I don't know when that's happening. Maybe it happens today. Maybe I get really carried away with my new scenes that are really exciting and easy to write, surprisingly. Maybe the garland gets made, maybe not. I don't know. Stay tuned. Because we're making a garland. I swear, I've spent way too much money on fake leaves this year. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you very much. I hope you enjoy listening to me ramble. I feel like I've done that a lot in this video. I think I did that a lot in last video too. I think I just yap. I think that's just what I do. Thanks for watching. Happy writing, and I'll see you in the next one.